making no apologies. That's it, umhlaba mawuhlulwe, so that our people can have access to the land.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so excited. I'm back home. I'm shooting in my own space. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So today there is a topic that is very close to my heart that I want us to look into. And thank you so much to Dr. Gumani Tshimomola for doing this post. And I wanted to do a YouTube video because these are questions that I have as an individual. When it comes to by-elections, the pressure of by-elections, losing, even when we put the effort, I do spiral. When I see the results and I'm like, how is this possible? Like, what's happening? Are we not putting enough effort? It's just like, it just never makes sense. When it comes to by-elections and the results, it never makes sense to me. So I'm so appreciative to Dr. Gumani. He wrote this post on X and he said, in defense of the economic freedom fighters, by-elections performance and the hysteria. And I'm definitely one of the people that panics when it comes to the by-elections. Like, I panic and I'm always stressed. So if we're doing like this, like on the by-elections, does this mean that we're going to perform badly in the local elections? Oh my God. So I'm happy. Like, I'm happy to dive into this piece that he has written. And of course, I respect his views, so I'm excited. So let's get right into it. Oh, Sana, if you don't know who I am, my name is Isabella Belwana, and this is Simple Politics, and I'm back. Oh, Sana. Okay, let's get right into it. So he says this. It's a very long post. This is why I came straight to YouTube. He says this: I'm not the one to engage on Twitter on by-elections banter. And this post he wrote is inspired by the results that just came out. I don't know if you saw the results. There were by-elections in the Eastern Cape. There were by-elections in Joburg. The PA won there. The ANC did well in some as well. So it's inspired by that. It's coming from that. So he says he's not the one to engage in by-elections banter because of deep insight and the privilege to observe the overall dashboard, which is what I want to get insight on. So I'm excited. Shout out to you, Dr. Gumani Tshimomola. I don't know if you're going to see this. I doubt you even know that I have a channel. But anyway, shout out to you. Let's get right into it. So he says this because he says he doesn't engage in this banter like on social media because he's got privilege to he's got deep insight. I want to use to when it comes to these things, to observe the overall dashboard, not elections resulted posted on Twitter by analysts. I'm not a denialist either about the ups and downs of the numbers. I'm data driven on this one, which is exactly what I want. So he says, fighters, we are studying this animal called elections with serious experts in engineering, data analytics, and people trained in intelligence. And I can tell you, relax and focus on your branch. So he says, relax. They are studying this thing. I don't know if he's saying we are studying this thing, so just chill, relax, and we'll come back to you when we've got information. Or he says we are studying this thing. It's showing that you might not be the problem, so just relax. I don't know, but let's continue. So he says, relax, focus on your branch. He says people get worked out over tweets. I do get worked out. I'm not gonna lie. People get worked out over tweets, screenshots of so-called analysts without understanding what's behind those numbers, who pays them, where do they get the time to do what they want, and what interest do they serve. Some of the people who comment about elections have not seen how IEC results dashboard looks like. Okay, which is true. I am one of the people that do get worked out. I'm not gonna lie. So he said, You are told Herman Mashaba and Dudula are winning because of xenophobia while the EFF is dying, but no one bothers to explain how long it took for Action SA to win even a single ward. The party was launched in August 2020, and only now, 5 years later, did they win their first ward. Not in Tshwane, Johannesburg, or Ekurhuleni, but a rural ward in the northwest. Okay. Which is true, because the narrative that is being pushed out there is that Herman Mashaba is winning because the EFF is advocating for foreigners. So Herman Mashaba is doing better, which is not even true anyway. He's not even winning anything anyway with Herman Mashaba. So, come on. And even that first win was not some organic surge. It was the result of local political trading. Forum for Service Delivery joined Action SA and tipped the balance. That's not growth from scratch. That's acquiring local structures, which I'm not saying it's wrong. The EFF, on the other hand, builds its own through its own activists and community personalities who join, do so voluntarily. Yeah, but we're meaning that the EFF starts from scratch. Yeah, but, then he says since 2016, there has been around 900 by-elections in South Africa. That's nearly 1,000 local electoral battles fought outside of the general election cycle. The EFF has contested in almost all of them, unlike parties that choose their fights selectively. Yes, I do. I can attest to this, that the EFF mostly is always contesting, even when they know that they are weaker in a ward. Yeah, well, so it says, while some parties target specific communities they know they can control, the EFF goes everywhere. Urban township, rural villages, colored communities, mining towns, traditional areas, and metros. It is a different kind of political work, harder, slower, but more meaningful in the long run. Okay. I have seen and experienced it. It cost money. Yeah, by-election cost money. I think that's another thing that we don't take account, that it costs a lot of money. It costs money, time, emotions, and energy. It's not that nice office I had while I was at Treasury. Here you bump into a fighter who works the whole day and tell you 7 p.m. that, by the way, Dogotela, I need help. My neighbor came to me last night asking for food, and they will come again today. Can you assist them with just meal for 3 days so that I take a break? Between 2016 and 21, the EFF won more than 10 wards across the country through by-elections. Between 2021 and now, the movement has already won more than 10 wards. I think this is another information that I think, of course, that we must do research on, because there's also this narrative on the streets where they say the EFF has never won any ward. That's what they say, Tlabes Tuka, on the streets. The EFF has not won anything, has never won any wards, wara we are won. So I think this is another information that that we need to push a little bit more. Maybe have like a list of the wards that we've won and make it known out there, the list of the wards that we've won, so that even to someone who doesn't have the time to do the research and check, they can know at the top of their head. Because I can tell you right away, these streets are brutal. These streets are brutal, and they are going to tell you that the EFF has not won anything. And especially when every results that are coming out, you'll see that it's mostly other parties that are winning, and like maybe the EFF won like one ward a little bit back. Yeah, so it's I think we need to have like some list nyana, to assist us. There is no, so he says, okay, so Dr. Tshimomola continues and says the EFF has won. So he says, okay, let me start here. Between 2016 and 2021, the EFF won more than 10 wards across the country through by-elections. Between 2021 and now, the movement has already won more than 10 wards again. There is no decline. It comes during a and it comes during a period where the total number of by-elections has actually dropped from 916 to 656. Obviously, this is not growth the organization wants exactly, but don't behave like the house is burning because of News 24 article. Okay, thank you for that. Check what they are writing about General Ndlela Mkhwanazi and tell me the type of what type of journalism is that. Yeah, hence I'm saying the streets are hectic. Yeah, well, I think, as I said, Ukuti, the streets are brutal, right? The streets are brutal. And of course, you will panic here and there, especially if you don't have access to this kind of information where you can see and get to know what other people are saying, like what researchers are saying, So, of course, you will kind of panic, I think it's only natural to panic. But of course, we appreciate the insight, from a researcher's point of view, from someone who's like watching things closely in the EFF office. So I think I genuinely do appreciate this insight as an individual. So while there are fewer electoral contests overall, the EFF has managed to maintain its level of ward victories, which is what growth and resilience actually looks like when you analyze properly and do electoral politics. Herman Mashaba learned very fast that it is not popcorn, this thing. Yeah, meaning that you can't just put it for 2 minutes. The EFF average vote share in by-election has grown from around 8.8% in the earlier period to about 12% now, which is quite good. That's not a fluke. That's a sustained, measurable rise in electoral support over 2 cycles. If you look at total votes between 2016 and 2021, the EFF received about 260,000 votes in by-elections from 2021 to now. That number is already around 170,000 votes, even with fewer elections and lower voter turnout. That's an important indicator that support levels are holding firm. One of the biggest shifts since 2016 has been turnout collapse. Average winning votes in by-elections went down from about 15,900 votes to 9,000 votes. That's a drop of more than 40%. This affects all parties. It means fewer people are voting in by-elections, not that the EFF is losing voters. Meanwhile, other parties are playing a narrow game. The Patriotic Alliance on Baisne, for example, won in Swellendam with just over 800 votes in Ward 6. That is 76% colored and 91 African speaking. That's true. Theirs is to divide and slander Africans for the sake of electoral victory. They forget that their children and grandchildren will inherit this toxic political space. The EFF fights in difficult territory. Media, white capitalist establishment, established parties, poverty, unemployment, inequality, crime, GBV, etc. That's the difference between the EFF. That's the difference. The EFF doesn't wait for friendly demographics. It contests everywhere, even when it's unpopular, because the project is long-term, not tactical. It's about building branches, not just winning easy headlines on xenophobia and hatred. But read this part very carefully. If the 6th by-election held yesterday, okay, this is obviously what sparked the conversation, the 6 by-elections yesterday. If the 6 by-elections held yesterday, for example, were national elections, the result would have been almost identical to 2021. There were just over 34,000 registered voters in those wards. Less than half voted. The EFF received around 1,500 votes, which is about 10% of the vote. Mind you, contesting only 4 out of 6. We didn't avoid Swellendam, Ward 6, because it is made up of colored people. There was a detailed report that showed progress and focus on rebuilding branches, and resources were directed towards that instead of contesting abuse of state resources. So when the people shout the EFF is dying, what they are really doing is repeating Twitter noise without reading the data properly. The numbers show consistency, growth in average support, and a movement that fights every single ward. Action SA has spent 5 years trying to win one ward. DA and the PA focuses on narrow ethnic enclaves. The EFF has contested in 100 of wards, fought real battles, built a real presence, and maintained its ground. That's the real picture. Taking the ANC toe-to-toe with very little media presence. So fighters must stay calm. The real work is not on timeline. It's in the branches, in communities, on the ground. Social media is not a battlefield, it's a distraction. The real political temperature is felt where people organize, not where influencers farm engagement for payday. We just thought it's best we make this modest contribution to the hysteria, although the waters appear to be deeply muddied. So that's what Dr. Gumani Tshimomola said, right? And I think, I don't know if I'm going to have time to jump into the comments, but of course I was happy. I said, thank you so much for clarifying. And then he said, there is science in politics. It's not just hiki haga or flowery language for hand clapping and praising. We know where we don't get votes and why scientifically. So, so very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. So that's what he wrote. Again, I'm not going to try and explain anything because I was also learning from the piece that Dr. Gumani Tshimomola wrote. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this makes sense or if you have any more questions. Then maybe if you have like questions, then maybe that's something that we can tackle. Do you think the explanation makes sense? Do you think it's enough? Let's meet in the comment section. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to this channel. It's free of charge. Let's get to 40K subscribers. I'll see you guys on the next one. Aluta continua. Until the next time.